Hey, welcome back, my burnt toast prophets, my mildew-scented masters of the 3 a.m. exit strategy, and my road-weary sentinels of the sodium-lit wasteland. Hobo Yeti here, still upright, still wheezing, still legally questionable in at least 2 jurisdictions. One of them knows, the other just suspects, but they're watching the footage, probably zooming in on a blurry tarp like it's a national security threat. And today, we're unzipping the dusty duffel bag of strange adaptations and asking the real question, what's your homeless superpower? Not the kind that saves the world, no, just the kind that gets you through one more night without losing your mind or your last granola bar. Me? I've got nose flaps. Not external, mind you, internal. I can shut off my sense of smell like flipping a mental switch. Porta potty funk, disabled, rotting leftovers, canceled. I thought everyone could do that. Turns out, nope. I guess I'm a mutant. Less X-Men, more Xmas ham left out in August, but still a gift. So, let's see what the wasteland gave you. First outlet vision. You walk into a library, a bus stop, a church food pantry, and without thinking, bam, your eyes land on the nearest viable outlet like it owes you money. You don't even look around anymore. Your body just pivots toward juice. You know which plugs spark, which ones are fake, and which ones will make your power bank cry. It's not even conscious anymore. You feel it in your molars. You can smell electricity. You once spotted an outdoor plug behind a Taco Bell while crossing traffic on foot. It was like divine intervention, if divine intervention involved a cracked outlet cover, cobwebs, and the faint smell of day-old chalupa oil. You are the charger of last resort, the power predator, the wattage whisperer. 2. Stealth mode activated. You're a ninja of the overlooked. You could pitch a tent under a billboard in broad daylight and somehow still not be seen. There's a weird magic in it. You move just slow enough to not trigger attention. You dress in the color of alley shadows. You blend in with fence posts and bad urban planning. Cops roll by and don't clock you unless you blink too loud. You once spent 6 hours in a grocery store bathroom and 3 employees came and went without asking a single question. You've transcended the normal rules of presence. You're Schrodinger's camper, simultaneously there and not there. You've turned invisibility into an art form, the cloak of beige anonymity. You wear it with style. 3. The temperature toad. You no longer feel weather. It just happens around you. You've slept through nights that would paralyze a lesser mortal. 35 degrees, light drizzle, busted zipper on your sleeping bag, and still you wake up mildly annoyed instead of hypothermic. Summer's worse. The heat crawls into your clothes like a feral cat and stays. But you just stop sweating at some point. You dry out like old jerky and keep moving. You once used a sunshade as a blanket and called it solar therapy. You've worn socks so wet they deserved names. You've embraced dampness like a philosophy. You are neither hot nor cold. You are ambient, an atmospheric phenomenon with a bad back and a peeling forehead. 4th camp whisperer. You can smell bad ground before you even see it. One look at the dirt and you know, flood zone, raccoon runway, or emotionally haunted. You can tell by the angle of a tree or the presence of a discarded spoon whether someone's been here recently. You know what bark peels too loudly, what ivy hides cameras, and which patches of grass are hiding sprinkler heads with anger issues. You once picked a site because the birds were quieter there, and then found an old military ration tucked in a stump. That's the kind of luck you develop when your feet know things before your brain does. You're not camping. You're communing with terrain like a weird, dirty druid. 5. The soap MacGyver. Give you half a napkin, 3 drops of shampoo, and access to a sink for 45 seconds, and you'll emerge smelling like hope and possibly bubblegum. You've turned plastic grocery bags into shower caddies. You've used travel-size cologne like it was a cleansing ritual. You once washed your whole body with a hotel soap the size of a communion wafer and still managed to feel human for a day. You once tried to use dry shampoo on your pants. It didn't work, but you tried. You've done full laundry in a public restroom using a paper towel dispenser and shame as your wash cycle, and you didn't just get clean, you got clever, hygiene by any means necessary. 6. Time distortion. You have broken time, shattered it into bits. You once waited 3 hours for a sandwich and somehow forgot you were waiting. You live outside the normal rules of clocks and schedules. Libraries open when they open. Food pantries start at early, but never now. You've waited in line for socks, for bread, for a free meal that turned out to be fruit salad and regret. But you're still there, still waiting. Time doesn't pass, it drips. And sometimes it backs up like a clogged sink, and you just sit there, letting the present moment leak into your shoes. You are the chronically patient, the one who no longer measures days in hours, but in humiliations. 7th, social vanisher. You've cultivated a force field of avoidance. People actively choose not to see you. You've sat on a public bench for 6 hours and been ignored by 217 people, 12 pigeons, and a street preacher. You once coughed and someone crossed the street. You're not invisible. You're socially radioactive. But, there's a strange power in it. You get left alone. You get space. You've learned to emit a vibe that says, don't ask, don't approach, don't even start. The sad part is you're probably one of the sanest people on the block. But you've worn too many layers and your hair has opinions now, so they don't see you. And honestly, sometimes that's the goal. 8. The one bag oracle. You've edited your life into 22 items and one bag of mystery. Everything in there has a story. That spoon? Found it at a church picnic in 2018. That t-shirt? The last one that didn't itch. That charger cord? Works at one angle only and you guard it like a dragon horde. You don't pack anymore, you curate. You've achieved pack equilibrium. You once carried around a single sock for 2 weeks just because it felt like a talisman. When something new goes in, something old gets chucked with reverence and regret. You've mastered the art of minimalism under duress. You're not homeless. You're a nomadic curator of barely functional relics. 9. Mental gymnastics. Your brain has done so many flips, it should be in Cirque du Soleil. You've convinced yourself that this life, this very mess, is somehow okay. You turn tragedy into jokes. You once cried and laughed at the same time while eating cold beans. You've decided that sleeping on gravel builds character, and that not knowing what day it is makes you free. You once romanticized getting rained on, called it a free baptism. You tell yourself things to survive, even if they're lies, especially if they're lies. You've trained your mind to bend without breaking. You don't cope, you twist. You're not okay, but you're still thinking, and that's something. 10. Bad weather ESP. You get a tingle in your spine and know the rain's coming. You smell the metallic tension in the air and pack up before the sky even grumbles. You've learned to read the wind like it owes you money. You once told someone, storm's coming, and they laughed. Later, they were soaked, and you were dry, smug, and already boiling ramen. The birds go quiet, and your left knee gets weird, and that's all the forecast you need. You don't check the weather app. You are the weather app, the old school kind, with static and grain and a 30% chance of trauma. You've earned your meteorologist badge the hard way, with mildew and good instincts. So what's your homeless superpower? Maybe it's sleeping through sirens. Maybe it's finding the only dry patch under a freeway overpass. Maybe it's surviving long enough to laugh about it, even if it's a bitter laugh and your only audience is a bored crow. Whatever it is, you earned it with bruises and stubbornness and the kind of wisdom nobody envies. I hope your road is a good one, and if you're homeless, I hope it doesn't suck for you. Peace.